Shots
Oklahoma
the other
State
game.
probably.
Might have actually been Houston. Actually, they got robbed against with the calls, and I felt like it was made up for against the Raptors because it was the center that's replacing Nikola Vukovic, Dedman.
Mm-hmm.
He was moving screens all over the place, but I really like that Orlando. I remember we had discussion in the summer how Skiles would make a difference, and he is making a difference. It's not showing so much in the yet, but I love their energy. So I'm going to go with your hometown and pick Orlando over Utah.
I'm taking front of the back. Only you say if Gobert is out, the Magic able to get now. I know Victor is out to get so, but the guy I like is Evan Fournier tonight. Fournier isn't scared to go to the basket, and even if Victor's out, Fournier should pick up the scoring slack. Also, keep an eye on Shabazz Napier tonight for 3 pointers. He was feeling his game last night, and you're right, Sam. I was in the locker room on Wednesday night against the Lakers, and even though they won by 2 points, Scott Skiles was so animatedly upset with the way his team performed, especially
Yeah,
defensively,
yeah.
that when you went back and talked to the players, you can tell they were not happy with the performance, even though they just won a buzzer.
Yeah, you're breaking up on me, but I got most of that. Yeah, he's intense, that's for sure. That's why he doesn't last longer than 3 seasons anywhere because by the third season, the players have had enough of it. But I really love that team. I got to tell you, really, really love that team. Who shot 23 points? Did you say it was Aaron Gordon?
Shabazz Napier.
Oh, Shabazz Napier. Really?
Napier came
Oh,
off the him and Fry. He set off the bench. They were hitting three right and picked up the play when Oladipo went out.
yeah,
So
and it's nice with Shabazz. That's good to hear.
he was
I think Aaron Gordon's going to have like a monster game any day now. Like a
well.
monster game.
Well, I think it just depends on how he plays defensively. Because
Yeah.
with rotations, he's still trying to figure out Skiles' defensive system. He looks kind of
Hmm.
lost. But I said Napier was hitting threes everywhere, and he looked confident, like he was back in college. He even said that this is the best he's felt, and he feels like when he's in the game, as long as he gets his number called, he's going to produce. So we'll see how he does tonight, especially if they don't have Victor. C.J. Watson, we're not sure if he's playing tonight either. So if they're
I
both
read that
out,
he's out. I read CJ's out and Victor was day to day.
yeah. So
I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you something, Danny. If Alfred Payton, and I believe he will, if he had a consistent shot, and if Ricky Rubio can do it, Alfred Payton can do it, and he's driven to do it, that kid could be a top 3 point guard in the league. He is one hell of a point guard.
oh yeah, the 2.0.
Love that kid.
Worst case scenario, he's so. But he's got to learn more defensively to get it down packed. But he's a very good all defender. Just has to learn team defense. All right,
But
Tam.
he's got so much upside. I love that. I love that team.
Exactly.
Minnesota and Orlando are my two favorite teams to watch this season.
They're good league pass. Atlanta, Boston. Boston's been lately trying to find rotations. The Hawks 8-2. Basically, they're tied with Cleveland for the best record in the East. Who you got tonight?
Did Atlanta play last night?
Atlanta was off last night. Both teams were.
Atlanta's going to kill Boston because Atlanta was embarrassed by what happened to them with Minnesota. So I think Atlanta's going to beat Boston. Boston's really beat up right now. I love Brad Stevens, but they might not have Evan Turner. They might not have, I think, Avery Bradley. There's a bunch of people they might not have. And I mean, what Brad Stevens gets as a miracle to begin with, and they don't really have to be that upset. I call it the win-win season in Boston because they're going to end up getting the number one pick because Brooklyn's the worst team ever to walk this earth, and they're probably going to get Dallas's pick because Dallas is never going to under 23. So Ainge is going to have all kinds of picks and/or options to trade. So it doesn't even matter if they make the playoffs; they still go for broke. I just think Atlanta's going to come in there and they're still ticked off about what happened with Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're not going to take him for granted. I like Al Horford a lot this year. A lot. I kind of hope Toronto goes up him for power forward next year because he does everything well and he's got a three.
Yeah. Can you imagine Valanciunas there for Toronto next year? Oof. Scary. Yeah. Tonight, I like Atlanta.
Yeah.
Boston's still out. Like Evan Turner situation, you have Avery Bradley situation, and really Marcus Smart is way too after injury. So I give Boston one more game, and then they'll be back to normal. But you're playing the Hawks, and I like Atlanta. Horford, T, Millsap, and I think Kyle Korver snaps out of the shooting problems he's been having.
Kind of.
Huh?
Pardon me?
I said I think Korver's had the shooting issues he's been having. So
Yeah.
Chicago and Charlotte. Who do you got tonight?
Charlotte's been playing really, really well. I think Batum's going to have a monster game, but Chicago, they're 5-3. Charlotte's 4-4, but Charlotte's been winning a lot lately, and they finally seem to found their offense at the demise of their defense. But Michael Carter losing MKG really hurt Michael Gilchrist. But I'm torn on this one, Danny. Chicago does so well at home that you would think that Chicago would do well, but Chicago's been notorious all season for playing down to their competition, playing great against, like Rose has one of his best games, and Russell, just like he did last year in OKC, and did the same thing against Surrey and Golden State. But then they have someone come in like Minnesota, and they underestimated them. They lost, and they were fighting tooth and nail to win that game and couldn't get back. So they're not doing great offensive or defensively either. So this one's a real toss up for me, and I guess I'm gonna have to go because they're at home, but I have a real stinking suspicion Charlotte might surprise them.
I'm taking the Bulls tonight from Bear Road. I have
Sorry?
the Bulls tonight. The Bulls.
Yeah.
The Bulls were embarrassed. I mean, it was like a 20 where they couldn't get to the line. You're right. Derrick Rose has Derrick Rose doesn't play or he goes missing. I think Jimmy Butler snaps out of his shooting problems, and the Bulls front line is better than the Hornets front line. Even though you're right, Batum's been playing well, Jeremy Lin, Jeremy Lamb, but let's be honest, Kemba Walker has shot the ball well, and if Walker's not scoring, that's a problem.
Yeah, neither has Al. It's interesting. The two foundation pieces of Kemba and Al Jefferson are the two playing the worst, but they're probably the ones having the hardest time finding a new dealing with the chemistry issues, I guess. I think, do you not wonder if there's some sort of major chemistry issue problems going on in Chicago?
You know what? I think it's an adjustment. All these years in the profile have Fred more elbow, and guys are still getting used to their role. Joakim Noah has been a starter forever. Now has to come off the bench. You're starting Mirotic.
He might not play. Joe might not play. He's got a thing.
Well, yeah, but even you have to understand, Joe's been a starter for so many years, and he's a budget piece, and he's a presence. But when he's not on the floor, I'm still not sold on the fact of having Mirotic and Gasol in the lineup together, especially when you have Noah and Gibson off the bench, and neither one are an offensive threat. I think they should bring Mirotic back, put Noah back in the starting.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mirotic is more dangerous coming off the bench because he keeps if you get the starters off to a good start, he keeps them rolling. If they don't get off to a good start, he's an instant injection of energy and he's tough as nails. But he hasn't even adjusted to being in the starting role well until they played Philadelphia. So,
everybody. Speaking of the Sixers, this shouldn't take very long to talk about. Who you got tonight?
I got Russell Westbrook probably almost having a triple-double by the second quarter. My boy Russ, we're not going to have KD. He's out. But, Core, I think, is going to eat Cantor alive when he's pushed up against him, but he's still going to have to deal with Cantor's offense. And Russ just only had, I think, 8 touches the whole game in Philadelphia and still got a double-double and Okafor. So as good as Okafor is or can be offensively, Cantor will eat him up on offense, and then he'll get eaten alive on defense. This could be one of those games where Russell puts some up 3 points by the half, and I don't think he's got the team. He'll probably have a triple double. What do you see?
Yeah, Westbrook against them.
Yeah.
I mean, Westbrook will probably have, you're right, about 25 to 30 points, about 10 rebounds, and about 12, 13 assists. I think Cantor goes for about 25 and 15.
Grant's looking.
Yeah. You know what? Dion Waiters. I don't watch for Oklahoma City. It should be a blowout. You're right. Even without Kevin Durant,
Wade better do something soon because I don't think he'll be around Wilkes very long if he doesn't.
I don't know. Maybe the Lakers will take him up. Speaking of the Lakers, the Fighting Kobe's take on the Dallas Mavericks. Who you got tonight?
This is another one that I don't know if Kobe's playing because Dallas and LA always have really great battles. They always seem to go ahead and have these amazing battles, and there's so much history between the two teams. But Dallas has been on a roll. I think if Kobe plays, they might be closer, but I don't have a lot of confidence in Los Angeles. And Zaza's been playing great for a 13-year center. He certainly hasn't hurt them. Matthews, I think, is going to have a big game. He's starting to round into form. I'm loving Canadian Dwight Powell. He's showing a lot of growth, and I think he's second or third highest scorer on the team. Dirk looks like, can you believe Dirk is 37 years old, all the way through? He's like, come on. So
Exactly.
as much as shouldn't even be in a mixer, they might just be that team sneaks in the 8th seed or excuse me, pulls a last minute trade to make themselves relevant. But yeah, I think it's Dallas tonight.
Yeah, the Fighting Kobe's go down and Bryant plays. I like Wesley Matthews defensively, honestly. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, 2 more games. Memphis, what you got?
Memphis has to win this. They're playing so bad. And Portland doesn't have enough defense to pack the paint like other teams are doing on Memphis. Now, is Lillard out?
At last check, he's still questionable.
All right, if Lillard doesn't play, then Memphis totally kills them. But it's only a matter of time before teams figure out how to stop Siege and Lillard, and then the dream is over for Portland. It's been fun while it lasted. I think the referees have been really kind to them in a lot of games that they didn't deserve to win as well. But yeah, I think we're going to see Gasol have a big night. Conley's going to step it up. And also, Mario Chalmers should be there tonight, right?
He should be available.
Yeah. Not that I'm a big Chalmers fan, but at least he'll help them space the floor a bit and do some things. So give them another ball handler because poor Conley's having to do everything. They've looked so bad. Here's a team that was 4th overall in defense last year that's now 25th, I think. Like, who is this men's team? What happened to them? So yeah, I'm taking Memphis.
It's like this. If Memphis, Dave Georgia better be on hot in Memphis. They lose. He's a lot. Very selfish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, did you say Dave Yeager or the GM?
I'm talking about the coach.
Dave Yeager.
Yeager, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeager,
I called you that a couple weeks ago. But it's not Dave Yeager's fault. What's he supposed to do? The GM didn't go out and get anyone to surround them. There's no players to spread the floor. There's no 3-point shooters. All the teams, it's like a decade ago. They're playing a style from a decade ago. So all the teams that are opponents are just packing the paint and going, you have no outside shooters, so shoot the we dare ya. That's why they're losing.
Well, especially when you're supposed to be the Western Conference. We have Houston, your team, against the Denver Nuggets tonight. Real quickly, who you got?
Houston, revenge. They are not only revenge because they lost to them opening night, but revenge because they lost to the worst team in the league and looked bad doing it.
He put Kyle Lawson wakes up and has his best game of the season. He's going to Denver.
Yeah.
I don't think you and your knee is Brendan Howard. I think Lawson takes the reins, but I think Emmanuel May puts in work tonight against the Rockets because he's been playing really well the last couple of
And Denver the last 6 games have allowed teams to shoot 41% from outside the arc, and Houston shoots 32 threes a game. They haven't been hitting, but 32 opportunities wide open, and that number's going to change real quick. And you took the words right out of my mouth about Lawson. He's had 2 unspectacular games, but this game he'll be pumped for.
And the Cares game, Nets, Kings.
I have Sacramento. Is that what you said? Brooklyn and Sacramento?
Yeah, the Who Cares games of the night.
Sorry?
The Who Cares game of the night.
Yeah, well, it's a land of alienation. I have no idea. Like, maybe Vlade Divac will come out and fans whether or not the game should be played. Like, have you ever been so absurd in your life? A GM asking us whether the coach should be fired? Boogie Cousins is going to have a big game. Brooklyn's terrible. They're terrible. I called that preseason and said they'd be the worst team in the league.
Wow. Against Boogie and Sacramento needs it because if they lose, if you think George Karl's seat's hot now, just imagine if they lose to Brooklyn at home tonight, especially after beating Detroit 2 nights ago and doing it impressively. So, Tam, before we let you go, has anybody get a hold of you and what you got coming up on your sites?
Lots of stuff on Space City Scoop. We've been posting nonstop. Raptors, I've got an article going up today. And you can get me on Twitter at TTOTAMZ, that's TTOTAMBZ, or on my Facebook page, Tamberlyn Richardson or Tamberlyn's Tip-Off. And as always, it's lovely talking to you.
Lovely talking to you, Tam. Tamberlyn Richardson, everybody, to be here talking NBA with us. So it was kind of an extended, shortened version of the morning tip-off this morning. So I just want to give a quick shout out to all our sponsors, SoFo LLC, as well as Action Parks, Gym Full Camp Brilliancy, as well as Late Night Parents, Action Sports Water Park, Who